this one here's the Indo Rocket. Kind of interesting, and this board's history goes way back actually to the single fin. Back in the late 70s, my main board was like a 6'6" pintail single fin, and that's what I rode in canola reef breaks, Indo, small Hawaii, things like that. And for me, the shape worked really well, and I could ride pretty large reef breaks on pretty hollow, pretty intense waves. When I started hitting the pro tour, and going to places like Tokyo and New Jersey and Rio de Janeiro, where there's 1 foot mush, all of a sudden the 6'6" pintail didn't work so well. So I had to evolve and change my boards and what I rode. It wasn't until probably the last, I don't know, maybe 5 years that I started to ride shorter boards again in bigger waves. Because through the, what was it, mid to late 80s, early 90s, pretty much my main board in Indonesia would be like a 7 foot go. I have a 7 foot pintail, and I'd ride that anywhere from like 3 foot to 12 foot. You know, I basically just take a whole lot of 7 footers. That's what I surfed in Indonesia. And they worked really well, they were great. Held the line, get into play, handle the juice, handle the size, you know, and move out when I needed them to. But what I started to discover is I started playing, you know, when the concave bottom started to come in, and you know, we started to find that we could ride shorter boards and bigger waves. I started to notice that, yeah, that I'd often go to my 6'5" or 6'6" single concave pintail on days where I used to ride my 7 footer. And I've sort of realised that actually this shape here is a pretty, it's a pretty good travelling reef break standby sort of board, you know. This board will surf, you know, if you go to Indonesia, this board will surf almost anything, pretty much, you know, except if it's really massive. But anything from like 3 feet, you know, through to 8 to 10 feet, this single concave design, pintail, you know, length sort of anywhere 6'3" to sort of 6'6", 6'7". It's a really good solid shape, you know. It'll handle the juice, it'll handle the speed, it'll handle the barrel. It seems to paddle in fine, you know. Most of the waves in Indo are pretty easy to paddle into anyway, so it's not an issue, you know.